In 2021, Matt Kelly was on a mission to find the marbled frogmouth on its nest. This frogmouth is a rare bird and is listed as vulnerable due to its reliance on rainforest and wet sclerophyll forest, which in Australia is limited and often fragmented. While it has been photographed before, this presentation covers Matt's quest, which culminated in the marbled frogmouth's behaviour whilst raising a chick, captured on video for the first time. So Matt, you've been all over this place. There's very few people with a note like you do. What drove you to be interested in marbled frogmouths?
I think it was more other people's interest, and the first time I'd heard them, there's just such an unusual sounding creature, and I've always liked, rare species and things that are a bit less known out there, and anything I find a bit difficult to find kind of piques my interest a bit as well, and just being able to discover more or work out what's actually out there and trying to track them down, I think I enjoy that. And yeah, I don't know if it's the challenge of it or just finding something that's a bit different.
There are 14 species of frogmouths located in the Asia-Pacific region. So let's briefly review the marbled frogmouth and its origins in Australia. They are not ours. They belong to the order Caprimulgiformes, which contains 5 families, all of them being nocturnal or twilight feeding birds. They are distributed around the world and include nightjars, nighthawks, frogmouse, potoos and owlet frogmouths. Most people in Australia would be familiar with the tawny frogmouth, as they are widely distributed around the continent and many do well in urban environmental settings. During the day, tawny frogmouths will remain static, perched on a tree limb, making them relatively easy to observe once you've seen through their camouflage. On the other hand, marbled frogmouths are rare, especially when compared to the tawny frogmouth. They differ from the tawny, being slightly smaller and are characterised by a marbling pattern, particularly across their breast, hence their name. So when did these frogmouths first appear in Australia? There are 3 species of frogmouth located in Australia. The Papuan frogmouth is found in the PNG and the tip of Cape York in northern Queensland. The tawny frogmouth is common throughout the Australian mainland and Tasmania. The marbled frogmouth is actually 2 widely separated subspecies, with one located in northern Queensland and the other in the forests of southeast Queensland and northern New South Wales. A recent study from Oliver and colleagues in 2020 conducted a mitochondrial and DNA analysis of the frogmouths to determine how and when they arrived in Australia. Frogmouths, nightjars and potoos originated in Asia and Europe. Around 35 to 30 million years ago, they made their way from Southeast Asia across island arcs to the Philippines, the Solomon Islands, Papua New Guinea and finally Australia. It was a slow journey. The study demonstrated that the original frogmouth arrived in Australia around 10 million years ago. The marbled frogmouth first appeared around 8 million years ago, and then the Papuan and tawny frogmouths around 2 million years later. So the marbled frogmouth has been around 2 million years longer than the widespread tawny frogmouth.
Mate, you've shown me the area.
Mm-hmm.
How on earth did you find that nest?
Yeah, it was, I think it was a combination of a few things. So many years of hearing them down in that area. I did find a pair of day roosting along the old glowworm trail one time, and so I knew they were down there. And anyway, I'd spent a bit of time down that way. I had a bit of interest down there, and I could hear them one night, and they were making a slightly different noise. And I figured it was the breeding season as well, so I knew there was something funny going on down there. So I spent plenty of nights just walking through there, and I kept hearing them in the similar area. And anyway, one of the other blokes came up here for a bit. We were doing a bit of camping down there, and same deal. You could hear them calling from a certain patch of the forest, but it was pretty inaccessible little area because they love the vines, and it's this big tangled area, very difficult to get into. And anyway, think it was Bird Week, had finished up, and I wanted to try get some video. I'd recently got some video of a male doing its call, and the female makes a slightly harsher sound, and I was hoping to get some footage of that. Anyway, I went down there and I heard the call, I walked up into this area, and I was able to look up above me and I could see where the call was coming from, and there was a bit of moonlight that night. And it was interesting because when I looked up, I could see the silhouette of the bird feeding its young. So that's I kind of knew the area going off the sound, and then just a stroke of luck being able to see the actual silhouette of the bird through all that vine thicket, because you couldn't really see it by day. Yeah.
So Matt, once you'd found it, you wanted to get up close with the camera and that, so tell us about building the tower, and also then what it was like just being out there at night time.
Yeah.
I know it did rain a lot.
It poured, yeah. Very difficult. If I'd known how difficult it would have been, I probably wouldn't have done it, to be honest. It was full on. So the first sort of 5 days, Glen Trelfo I, he's got a tower that he'd constructed back in the 80s or 90s, and anyway, but he was on holiday at the time. Anyway, so he'd given me some directions on where to find some of those parts, and so I went down the road and picked them up and tried to build one myself, and it was, you had to drag these sort of I think they're about 1.7 metre each, square sort of aluminium cages down through the scrub there. As I said, it's a pretty inaccessible area, and to get all that stuff down in there was just brutal, but it was a bit of a mission. We're going to get it done, so that's what we did. And the famous Glen Trelfo. So once we got that down there, then it was a matter of putting it all together. And again, it was raining. The slope is like incredibly steep, so it was like a slippery dip, and yeah, it was endless difficulties and frustrations. But we got it up there somehow, and yeah, and then once we were up there, like, I wasn't good with heights, and so that was initially terrifying, and I guess by the end of it I was pretty used to it, and it didn't really faze me too much. But yeah, to begin, it was an eye-opener, and but yeah, it's pretty well constructed, that thing. I don't think it would fall anywhere, to be honest, and we had about 20 odd bits of rope tied off to different trees, and anyway, sitting up there was sometimes it was just incredible, yeah, being able to sit up there and watch these birds do their thing, and yeah, I learned a lot sitting up in the canopy there. I was up for hours on end, sometimes till, I'd get out there on sundown and be there till 2, 3 in the morning, get up, go back to work, and then once work finished, back down there, checking what was going on. Days off I was spending out there. Yeah, it was a bit of an event, yeah, but it was an amazing experience, yeah. But tougher than most people would think, I would imagine. Yeah.
And the footage you got was worth it, wasn't it, in the end?
I think so, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. No, I do. I can't say I wouldn't do it again, because, it was an incredible thing, but yeah. Some of the best things are the hardest fought things too, yeah. Yeah.
So here's some more video capturing life on the nest. During the day, the male stays with the chick, whilst the female roosts nearby. The call of a grey goshawk attracts the attention of the parent frogmouth. As evening turns into night, both parents are involved in feeding the chick. The wet gully provides a bountiful supply of king crickets, which are relished by the young frogmouth. However, it's not just crickets. A katydid is also on the menu. Matt Kelly is a true naturalist and explorer. His persistence and deep knowledge of the subtropical rainforest and its gully areas, listening for the calls and then spotting the nests, provided him with the opportunity to capture such a rare story. The story of the marbled frogmouth, one we can all enjoy.